Netherlands election result. And I don't feel I can let you all go without discussing with you what's happened there and whether there's a likelihood of something similar, were there a suitable party to elect, happening over here. So maybe, Peter, you'll just fill people in on what's happened in the Netherlands and how surprising it is and how much it's being replicated in other European countries, and whether we are just different. We're an island, we're British, we don't feel the same way, or whether we do.
So in the Netherlands, there's a leader called Geert Wilders, who is someone who is from a party that's very, very anti-immigration, says that one of the slogans and one of the things they talk about quite frequently is that Holland, or the Netherlands, is full up, as they would put it. Now, with the immigration figures in this country today, certainly there are many people who feel that that may well be the case here in the United Kingdom.
It's over 600,000, isn't it?
That's right. It's the highest on record, about 670,000 net migration. That's legal migration. That's not people who are coming here illegally, which is bigger than the size of the population of Manchester. So there are lots of people who are quite worried about this. Certainly, the Brexit vote, I would say, was what we were told, take back control of our law, money and borders. And certainly a lot of people feel that that hasn't happened so far. There is a group of Conservative MPs called the New Conservatives, you've interviewed them actually alongside me last week, Vanessa, Danny Kruger and Miriam Cates we spoke to.
Yes.
And they have put a letter out saying, look, enough is enough. Something needs to change here. And the 2019 manifesto of the Conservative Party needs to be realised. And actually, when you put that all together, especially with the cost of living crisis, or actually in terms of tax, I spoke to a business figure earlier today who said it's actually not just a cost of living crisis, it's a cost of working crisis. It's people working all the hours God sends, at the same time not able to send their kids to childcare, for example. That's so incredibly expensive for so many people. But also the public services that we're paying so much tax for, things like getting a GP's appointment, getting kids into school and so on. So immigration is a big issue. Scarlett, I'm sure, can tell us in more detail that it's never the first or second thing, usually the third or fourth, but it is something that comes into people's minds. So Geert Wilders in the Netherlands, certainly that has been one of the number one issues there. He's got a minority within the Dutch Parliament, but probably will become the new Dutch Prime Minister.
Scarlett, what are you seeing about that?
So it is never the top priority for the country as a whole. I think there's a couple of things here. I think firstly, actually it is the number one priority now for Conservative 2019 voters, and that's actually been the same since the summer, which, if you remember, was when the government were going big on their small boats announcements. So they sort of put it into the headlines, weren't doing anything about it. And so then people got more and more concerned about it and more cross at the government. So it sort of backfired quite a lot. But no, for Conservative 2019 voters, it matters an awful lot. And I think actually that's where there's the overlap with Brexit. So I think Brexit did, sort of as Peter suggested, act as a sort of pressure valve. So people who were concerned about Brexit, I think it sort of felt that it was released a bit and that something was going to happen and that immigration was going to be brought sort of under control in a way they would like to see happen. I think what they now see is net migration and illegal migration, so illegal and legal going up. And people are very frustrated because they think, well, if voting for politicians who say they're going to lower it doesn't do anything, then it's sort of small wonder that they might be looking in other places. And I do think what Alex said is actually there's something in it. Like increasingly in focus groups, you have people say, oh, I can't bear the idea of voting for the Conservatives again. They've stuffed it up so badly over the last 13 years. Labour don't look great to me either. They're not very impressive. They're not doing anything to win me over. Maybe that Reform Party, or can Nigel Farage come back, or Lawrence Fox even. There are people, well, I know, people are looking elsewhere. And so I think, whilst our voting system doesn't work in the sort of way where, a party that would be able to break through quite as easily, I think it is there in terms of the sentiment.
Let me have one line on this from you, Alex Crowley. Thank you.
People are looking for change, and if they don't get it from either of the major parties, we shouldn't be surprised that they look elsewhere for it.